That's right in here.
All right, I'm moving. That's good. That's promising. All right,
You got it, Ed.
you're on, Ed.
Wet Ed.
Good evening, folks. Sorry for the delay. We had a little, we don't know,
Technical issue.
technical difficulties.
Glitch,
Good.
just a glitch.
Welcome to our weekly select board meeting. You haven't missed anything. Hopefully we have some good information for you. We'll start with our town clerk's report.
All right. Just a reminder, the 30-day lien notices will be sent out July 23rd. If you haven't paid your 2023 taxes yet. We did want to mention, thank you, Jen, and everybody who worked on it. We do have a description for Elijah Fox, Piper Free, and Bartlett Doe. That will be included in the town report this year. So thank you very much. The Text My Gov kickoff meeting is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please stay tuned for more information on how you can sign up for text alerts and all the information. I did have a quick meeting with Deb Miller yesterday, and we're going to focus on moving towards switching over to that new website and backing everything up. So we are working on the new website, so look forward to that. So
Yeah, a process.
just have follow-up issues. We do have some appointed positions to reappoint because those were expired at the end of June. And the tax collection updates are at the bottom.
Excellent.
Nice.
I'm still working on the Boston Post cane.
Do you need another report?
Well, potentially, yeah.
Okay, I can adjust the search.
Maybe start at
Settings.
90.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yes.
All right, folks, well, as usual, we're signing bills and approving money for last week and this week. Also, making sure all the bills for the end of the year are paid. Remember, our year ended the end of last month. January 9th bills were $25,000 as opposed to last week's bills, which were a couple $100,000 to the school money. Code enforcement officer has sent a report. For last year, which includes about 74 building permits. So we'll get some of this information into the comprehensive plan, and it'll obviously be on the website too. So
Do you just get a hard copy on that, or?
I don't know.
I can send it to you, Danielle.
Yep, I need that, please.
What do you
I
mean
don't know how they
getting it
wanna-
into the comprehensive plan?
Yeah.
No.
The comp plan is pretty much written unless they're big
Well, I
edits.
thought they were looking for building
Oh,
information.
about a year ago we were.
Well, this is about
Yes,
a year ago.
this is more relevant.
We had the state police report. Last week, they responded to about 70 calls. Shakopee rescue report for the month of June. 82 calls. 21 involved Parsonsfield. But they're all pretty close. Cornish is 22, Hiram 19, Porter 18, so. We needed assistance from other towns 8 times. And we gave assistance once, so that's not too bad. Mostly medical issues. 37 of those calls were from medical issues. 8 were for falls. We do not have a report yet from the animal control officer. As you know, last week the deputy came in and we have a new animal control, well, we have a deputy. We'll be advertising Shopping Guide website for an animal control officer. Our deputy is really works a full-time job, so his availability is limited during the week. He would like to get as much coverage as possible, as quickly as possible. Planning board, the next meeting is,
17th.
yep, at 6 o'clock. Appeals board, nothing comprehensive plan. The public information meeting is this evening at 6 o'clock. Should come out and see what your fellow residents have done. This has been almost a 2-year project. We haven't had a comprehensive plan in about 20 years. We're supposed to have one as required by the state like every 10 years, so it's good that we caught up or catching up. Final approval of this will be at the annual town meeting. As I mentioned, the Shakopee, the rescue report for June. We have to approve the 1-year contract, and we'll be asking the voters if they'd like to expand that, so there'll be a voting approval for a 3-year contract, similar to what we do for snow plowing and trash. Based upon an interview of a week or so ago, we're appointing Richard Patno to the Shakopee Rescue Board of Directors. Judith Blanco is requesting plant some native plants along Providence Lake, along the Parsonsfield part of the lake. And you have to get approval to do that, so she's been diligent working on that with DOT, DEP, and our code enforcement officer. So hopefully it will not be a long drawn out thing, since she's volunteering to do it and the plants are native to the area. We have a note from David Lowry. Opposition to motion for contempt. This is David Lowry is still our attorney in a couple of issues. One of them, which is the Stanley Building, our involvement with it, so he's following up on that or continuing to monitor that. There's a note from Susan Collins on new OSHA firefighting standards. basically, she's saying these standards really don't apply to a small town. And very difficult for us to comply with it. Costs us a lot of money, and we don't have the personnel to do it, so. I'm sure there'll be some different guidelines issued, I'm not sure, but there should be some new guidelines issued. Well, Emergency Action Plan, MMA scheduled workshop is, anything, Jen, you're the,
That was something that we talked about in terms of everybody here in the building and the office, like how to proceed in the event of an emergency, like somebody entering with a gun or I don't know, it could be a fire, it could be anything, so that we're all aware of exactly what we need to do.
okay. Keezer Falls Library interested in hanging the Parsonsville Library sign, this is, I'm assuming this sign here,
Mm-hmm.
at their location, huh? Well, it's either that or in the hallway over a little case of books there, I mean, you know.
If it could fit.
Yeah. Road Commissioner is gathering information. We have our local road assistance program from the Maine Department of Transportation. We have $98,000 that we've spent on that, and we have spent more on the road budget this year than we had planned because we have 2 or 3 storms we're trying to pay for. It's, we have the money. We're waiting for the state and the federal government to reimburse us for our expenses from these storms. And then I think we'll be probably going to the town meeting with an additional supplemental budget of money for the roads due to the storm incidents. But that's something that's being worked on. We're not quite sure how much money, because we don't know quite what we're getting yet from the state and federal government. Jen, speak.
What can I say? I've covered it all. I did speak with Zebra Striping today. They're the company that we've asked to give us a quote on the sidewalk, the crosswalk down in the village across from the post office. It'll be something called piano keys. That's the white striping, like 6 feet long, 2 feet wide, that goes from one end to the other. So she said that she would be back to me this week with a quote. I've had several people ask about it. You know, just quickly, I'll run over the activities in June that we had here.
That's really our only approved crosswalk, though, that area, right, in the town?
The other one doesn't meet DOT requirements for sight. On the easterly side of like going back towards Cornish, there's not enough sight. So there are 2 ADA ramps there, but we won't be painting that one. So we'll see. We'll see what she comes up with for a quote. In June, we had our free food drive. I think I've mentioned it once before. We had 26 families. 11 of them were from Parsonsfield. We had people come from as far away as Shapley. We had our Monday morning coffees are well attended. At least 2/3 of the people that show up are from Parsonsfield. You know, we have about 28 people on average that show up.
Good.
Music, food, coffee, kind of runs itself. Pickleball has pretty much moved outside for the summer, so.
Can we
And-
take that off our calendar, or is that still a thing?
You can take it off Tuesdays, and maybe for Thursdays, you know, check to see if anyone's playing. I think there are like 4 people who do come in,
What's the time?
like 9 to 12. And the community cafe, our monthly lunch that we do, that's kind of senior central, Grateful Undead sponsor, will come back in August. So none in July, but in August we'll start back up again. I think that's pretty much the activities. I'm working with all of our local towns in SAD 55 to develop and have a shelter plan in place. We're talking to Carl Landry about using the middle school as a shelter if we need it, because if we have one area that we can staff between all of the towns for overnights if needed, and I'm thinking more for the winters. We'll still be able to use Parsonsfield for a shelter, and I want people to know that in the event of an emergency or in needing cooling or warming, that we will be open. It's hard to plan to get notice to people if we have a power outage. We'll have Text My Gov maybe that can notify people ahead of time, or anyone who might have power. But I think I just want it to be known that the town, that I'll be here to open up in the event of an emergency for heating or cooling. And when I say cooling, we don't have air conditioning in the gym, but it is a little bit cooler than it would be in a 99-degree heat. So,
And you're out of the sun.
and you're out of the sun,
Yeah.
and can stay hydrated.
In
So,
regard to the staffing though, we have to get here.
Mhm.
I mean, the last storm, there was a problem because of the trees and stuff, of anyone even getting here.
correct, right. That's an issue. I mean, that is an issue. We're also talking about how to identify people that may need help right away in terms of, let's say you need oxygen, or your mobility is decreased, and we've been discussing how we can.
Does rescue or the fire department have a list of those people?
No, we don't right now. You can't. That has to come from the people themselves because of HIPAA.
Has to be volunteered.
It has to be volunteered.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, if
Well, one of our
they
ideas
should
is.
know that if they volunteer, they can maybe get some service they're gonna need.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
But we've discussed that within a lot of community groups in the past. So one of the ideas is to put a notice with everybody's in everybody's taxes. When taxes get mailed out, I've seen a form that says, do you feel that you would like, extra assistance during the storm? Do you need help with mobility? Do you need help with medications? Do you need help with oxygen? That kind of thing. And then they can send back their information, name, phone number, or address.
Mhm.
So that's one possibility that we're coming up with. I don't know of any other possibility unless somebody were to come into the town hall and say, can I be one of those people that volunteers my information? So, well checks, we've called it in the past, so people,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But to do something community-wide for those of us who do the emergency management would be a savings grace in terms of staffing, because, like you and I opened up for that weekend, but, the two of us can't really staff, 48 hours in a row if we needed to overnight.
Mhm.
So we would have access to more people in the local towns. So we're meeting again Wednesday on the 17th to discuss
Has there been
that.
any discussion, we had talked to the Red Cross before about cots or something, a limited number in the building here in case of a.
Yeah, we've
Is that
discussed
still
that.
up in the air,
Yep.
or is that all being transferred to the middle school?
Well, we have access to cots. Sockeye Valley Health Center actually has some. Cornish has some, I believe. We don't. We are intending to get the Red Cross to come and talk to us about what is available. And because we're 3 counties, we've got York County EMA, Oxford County EMA, and Cumberland County EMA. So it's, who pays for what kind of services? It's one of those things, so. All being worked on and discussed, but,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mr. Bauer?
Not much. I've been talking to Spectrum and Consolidated about getting fiber here in the building. I'm expecting numbers from Consolidated later this week or early next week. Spectrum gave me some initial numbers, although they said they may change dramatically when they do a site survey, which will probably happen in 2 weeks. So, the other thing is the fax line, Danielle. Are we using the fax at all anymore? You are, okay.
Insurance cards and.
Okay, for some reason I thought, I heard that it wasn't working and it's been like that, but,
No. it's
okay.
good. Yep.
Okay, good. That's it for me.
Jen, you had mentioned about the cannabis going to the planning board, and
Yes. Yep, our draft cannabis ordinances that we've been working on with our attorney is complete as far as Dave and I have been working on it. It's in the planning board's hands now to schedule a public hearing. And they meet next Wednesday, the 17th. And within 30 days of them getting notice, which was yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
A public hearing will be scheduled.
all right, just keep people appraised of the fencing around the Secaucus Road Buck Shop Sand Salt Shed. We got sent out for 3 quotes. One person's coming in next week to go down there and just look and see how many feet of fencing we need and to give us an initial price. So hopefully we'll get 3 competitive prices and be able to secure that area a little more, get rid of some of the graffiti on the walls, and make it look a little respectable for sand and salt shed. With that, we have no visitors this week. I'm feeling abandoned here. But if no one has anything more, okay, folks, thank you very much. Sorry we were late, but it happens.